Hello Commanders, I am Commander Ordruin and I am a mentor in the Anti-Xeno initiative. This video will show you a typical build for a shieldless Alliance chieftain built for Anti-Xeno or AX combat. A separate video, published along with this one, will showcase how it can be used to hunt down and destroy a Thargoid Cyclops in flight assist off. The link will be in the description. Links to the build itself in both Coriolis and ED Shipyard are also available in the description. So, this is the build for my chieftain, Glumdring. I have used this build with only minor modifications from my second encounter with the Thargoid Interceptor all the way to soloing Hydras and fighting multiple interceptors at the same time. It is a very capable build that will serve you well. As you will see, the build is heavily engineered. On the AXI Discord, we often get questions about whether engineering is necessary in order to engage in Thargoid combat. While it is possible to engage and destroy Thargoid interceptors in unengineered ships, it is not something we recommend for beginners. Thargoid interceptors are the most challenging PvE content currently in Elite, and as such you will want to come prepared in as good of a ship as possible. Starting Thargoid combat without a properly outfitted and engineered ship, you will make the content even harder for yourself, which will likely reduce the enjoyment you get out of it. At the very least, I would recommend that you engineer the following modules to the highest grade you can, in order of priority: thrusters, power distributor, power plant, and heatsinks. For the hardpoints, the absolutely best weapon to use in fighting Thargoid interceptors are the Guardian Gauss cannons. They are fixed hitscan weapons that require charging for just above a second before firing. Other weapons, such as the Guardian plasma chargers or shard cannons, or the human AX weapons, may work on lower variants of interceptors, but have significant drawbacks and will generally not be of interest outside of meme or challenge builds. I have included a link to Exidius' guide on how to unlock the Guardian Gauss cannons in the description. The Gauss cannons come in two sizes, small and medium. If you are serious about Thargoid combat, you should unlock both. This chieftain build has 4 Gauss cannons, which is the maximal number of experimental weapons you can fit on any ship. As good convergence of your Gauss cannons is essential, we have placed 2 medium Gauss cannons in the Chief's large central hardpoints and 2 small Gauss cannons in the small hardpoints just beside the large ones. The medium hardpoint is placed underneath his ship, and we will use it to equip a remote release flak launcher. This weapon has a hold and release mechanic and will be used to deal with the Thargon swarm deployed by the interceptors. Beware so that you do not buy a remote release flechette launcher here by mistake. More than one recruit has made this error. Finally, in the last small hardpoint, which is located centrally just above the cockpit, we will equip a small beam laser, engineered with a long range effect extending its range to 6 km and with a thermal vent experimental effect, which allows you to reduce your heat signature when hitting with a laser. The main reason for equipping this laser is to be able to pre-cool the ship from a distance before coming in range of the interceptor's main cannon at 3 km and without spending a heatsink when doing so. A secondary reason is to assist in taking out the interceptor's shields faster, but this is not a necessity as the shields will decay on their own. If you do not have access to engineer the laser, you can leave it out of the build as it is not a crucial component. Looking at the core internals, and starting with the armor, Thargoids deal absolute and caustic damage, which means that any resistances are irrelevant as you just want to go for as much hit points as possible. This is achieved by equipping military-grade composite armor, engineered with heavy-duty and deep plating experimental. In principle, you could also use mirrored or reactive armors, which have the same number of hull points. However, since they are more expensive, this will just increase the rebuy cost without affecting performance. For the power plant, AX builds are generally quite power hungry, and we will equip the 6A power plant. As staying cold is also important, you should opt for the armored modifications to the power plant, which increases power output, makes your power plant more efficient, and provides a bit of additional integrity. If this does not provide enough power, you can use the monstered experimental effect. However, this is not necessary here, and we have chosen the thermal spread instead for additional heat efficiency. Speed is the most essential quality of an avoidance AX build, and we therefore equip the best thrusters we can find. 6A engineered with dirty drives and the drag drives experimental effect. This gives us a normal speed of 374 meters per second and a boost speed of 536 meters per second when fully laden. enough to outrun all of the slower interceptor variants in a straight line. The frameshift drive is not an essential part of an AX combat ship. However, it is nice to at least be able to jump around through a couple of systems, and since we have enough power to support it, we have equipped a 5A FSD engineered for increased range and the Mass Manager experimental effect. Since the FSD is not that important to the combat part, you decide how cheap you are willing to go here. The life support is D-rated with lightweight engineering. This provides 7.5 minutes of oxygen in the case that you lose your canopy. This should be sufficient for you to get back to a station if it happens, although some choose to go with A-rated in order to be able to extend their time in the fight without synthesis. Like the thrusters, the power distributor is a key component in an AX ship. It is responsible for providing power to your Gauss cannons, energy for your boosts, and still needs to have enough juice for you to launch Heatsinks when needed. We therefore use a 6A distributor, the best that we can find. In order to run as cool as possible, I have here chosen to use weapon-focused engineering on the distributor. This provides slightly lower recharge rate than charge-enhanced engineering for the benefit of a larger weapon capacitor. Another drawback is that you cannot boost as frequently, but this is hardly ever an issue in a chieftain, as you can maintain a cold orbit without boosting for the most part. The experimental effect is Super Conduits for additional recharge rate. We complete the core internals by equipping 4D sensors engineered with long range in order to boost the typical emission range up and target the interceptor at range. Another option would be to go with A-rated sensors, but this generally is not necessary and draws additional power, which is at a premium. We leave the standard size 4 fuel tank as is. In the utility slots, we have equipped 3 heatsink launchers that are all engineered for additional ammo capacity, giving us a total of 12 heatsinks before needing to synthesize additional ones. Heatsinks will be our main tool to stay below 20% heat, thereby avoiding the target lock of the interceptor. If we at the same time stay out of the interceptor's bore sight, we will be safe from the main cannon fire. This is the basis for the cold orbiting technique that will be showcased in the video of the encounter. The final utility slot is dedicated to a Xeno Scanner. This is useful when you are first learning Thargoid combat, as it provides some information that can be useful, such as the remaining number of hearts, remaining health, remaining shield strength, and the number of Thargons left in the swarm. It also allows you to sub-target the exerted hearts, which can be of use if you have problems seeing them. However, this is not really a problem apart from Hydras, which have a yellow smoky model for the exerted heart rather than the bright red of weaker interceptors. It is perfectly viable to fight interceptors without a Xeno Scanner. If you feel you do not need it, it can be exchanged for another heatsink launcher. Another option is to use a shutdown field neutralizer, but this is not necessary equipment as the shutdown field mechanic can be avoided outside of hyperdictions and other encounters with multiple interceptors. In the optional internal slots, the main focus is on survivability. Because of this, we equip module and hull reinforcements. In this case, we have equipped 3 Guardian module reinforcement packs, providing a total of 94% module protection. The Guardian MRPs provide a higher integrity than the corresponding human ones of the same size at the price of drawing some power. If you can afford the power draw, as we can in this case, you should therefore go with the Guardian variant if you have access to it. The remaining slots that are not used for repair modules are dedicated to hull reinforcement packs, engineered with heavy duty and deplating experimental effect for the maximal number of hit points. Contrary to the MRPs, the Guardian variant of the HRP has less integrity than a fully engineered human one. While there is some merit to equip a small Guardian HRP for the 5% caustic resistance, you will generally be better off with the raw numbers of the human variant. In the slots not dedicated to module or hull reinforcements, we have a size 5 D-rated repair limpet controller that allows us to regenerate hull and repair our canopy between attack runs. The D rating provides the same repair capability as an A-rated one while being lighter and drawing less power. The loss in range is not really relevant for a solo fight. In order to use the repair limpet controller, we need to have a cargo of limpets. For this purpose, we equip a size 4 corrosion-resistant cargo rack, allowing us to carry up to 16 limpets. The corrosion resistance is not necessary for carrying the limpets, but it will be nice for picking up corrosive cargo, such as Thargoid hearts. If you have not unlocked the corrosion-resistant variant, using a normal cargo rack works perfectly fine. Finally, one of the size 2 slots is dedicated to an A-rated out-of-field maintenance unit. This is used to repair any damaged modules between attack runs. In particular, you will want to ensure that your module reinforcements stay healthy in order to protect the rest of your modules. But also keep an eye out for other critical modules, such as your thrusters, the gauss cannons, and so on. That concludes the discussion of the build itself, and we are now ready to take it out for a spin and hunt for some Thargoid interceptors. This will be discussed in the textbook Cyclops Kill video, published at the same time as this one and linked in the description. See you there.